for Bring Your Own Lunch. Personal stories about the business with my daddy, Dave T. Koenig.
All right, come on in. Have a seat. Welcome. This is the Bring Your Own Lunch podcast at BringYourOwnLunch.com, the magic of iTunes, the majesty of Stitcher. And however you found your way to download this podcast, I thank you. As you heard at the top, my name is Dave T. Koenig. I'm an actor, writer, director, producer, comedian, all-around swell dude. I'm on the mend. And of course, I'm the host of the podcast you're listening to right now. BYOL is the hashtag you can use if you want to get involved on social media. Follow us on Facebook.com/BringYourOwnLunch. That's where we put up updates for some of the guests we've had on the program before. You can follow us on Twitter at BYOL Podcast, and you can follow us on Instagram at Bring Your Own Lunch. But if you're not the social media type, you can always go to the website, BringYourOwnLunch.com. That's the mothership, if you will. And you can send me a personal email, Dave at BringYourOwnLunch.com. Love to hear from you and get some feedback on the shows we've had. I had some great feedback to the last few episodes on social media and directly, and that's always cool to hear. So if you do like what you're hearing, just send me a note. I always like to hear from you, and I will write back. There's no doubt about that. My guest this week, a very, very cool guy. Speaking of social media, this is a guy who I became friends with over Facebook. We were sort of in the mutual admiration society with one another, and we finally had a chance to meet and sit down and chat. Kevin Arbouet. Director, writer, former talent manager. He's done a lot in the business and for the business, and he's got a lot of great stories. He and I sat down for a little while recently, and the conversation went so well. We're definitely going to do a part 2 with him because he's got so much going on. In this one, we'll hear about him growing up on Long Island, not far from where I grew up, and we'll compare and contrast our personal experiences. He's got experiences in Catholic school and in public school, and some interesting stuff that came out of that was really fascinating. And then hear how he progressed his career from doing talent managing, which is very cool, and then eventually working for Lee Daniels directly, which is mind-blowing. If you saw Lee Daniels, the butler, you have a really good idea of the power that the name Lee Daniels holds in this business. And Kevin shares lots of great stories about working with him and how he started getting into directing, which is an indirect route. But as I've said on this podcast, the route doesn't matter. The destination is far more important because, there is no prescribed route for getting to any particular role in this business. Everybody's got a unique story, and Kevin's is certainly unique as well. So we hear about his career retrospective stuff, and then next time he and I sit down, we're going to go over all the stuff that he's doing now and some of the people he's working with today, which is a fascinating story in and of itself. So part 1 today, and sometime in the near future, I'm going to sit down with him and do a part 2 where we will just hear all these cool things that are happening with him. That'll be coming up soon. As for me, well, after all the excitement of doing the film last week, Indignation, by the way, I forgot to thank my managers, Sid Levin & Associates, Sid and her partner Harold. I wanted to thank them for sure for setting that up and paving the way for me to do that job, and I forgot to do it last week. And I almost kind of understated how cool it was to work with James Schamus. I mentioned that he was the guy who adapted the book that the film is based on, but I didn't really even give you a full idea of how awesome it was to work with him because he's so down to earth, so cool, so fun to work with, and treated me with tremendous respect and treated me as though I could have been an A-list celebrity on the set, because he treats everybody that way from everything I can tell, having worked with him last week. So thank you again to Sid and to Harold, and of course to James Schamus, the director and the guy who adapted the book Indignation, and then gave me this tremendous opportunity. In fact, before we even shot it, a few days after I got cast, I got a call from him on my cell phone, which was above and beyond anything you can expect to have happen from any director. I mean, he hired me for a job, and that is thanks enough for me. You don't have to go further than that, but for him to give me a call and to thank me for taking the role, well, that just gives you an idea of how cool he is, and how much he respects everybody else involved in the process. And it just made for an awesome, great shoot, and you could tell the cast and the crew had a great time. And the fact that James Schamus is somebody who's been working with everybody you can think of over many, many years, you can't get any better than that. So I didn't want to understate that. I wanted to at least give a little bit of an update on that and maybe correct something that I had neglected to do last week. Now, I can, if I want, justify my error by saying that, sure, it's all because I've had this bad back. I'm not going to, but I could. See, a couple of months ago on this show, I kind of joked about my pain in my back that was close to my kidney, and I joked about it online, and people got very concerned, and I apologized at the time because, I didn't mean to concern anybody. It was just an offhanded joke that went too far, but the pain remained, and the pain started traveling down my back and into my hip and down my leg and into my knee. And it was at that point I kind of knew what was going on, but I wasn't sure until I got the MRI back the other day, which confirmed that, yes, lo and behold, I have a herniated disc. Now, if you're not familiar with how the human spine works, if you reach behind you, you run your thumb up and down your back, you can feel your spine. And all those knots there that you're feeling, those are actually your vertebrae. Those are the bones that comprise the spine. Now, between those vertebrae are what they call discs. They're little spongy shock absorbers, if you will, that help your bones from rubbing up against one another. Now, those are important because, if you have bone rub against bone, that's very painful and can lead to a lot of problems. It also happens to be that there are a lot of nerves running up and down your spine. Sometimes the discs themselves get injured, and they can either herniate, which means a little tiny bulge kind of sticks out from the disc, or you can have a tear. Now, thankfully, I don't have a tear, which would be a very different situation, but I do have a herniation of one of those discs between two of my vertebrae. And because there's all those nerves running up and down there, it's pushing up against one of the nerves in my back. It's a sciatic nerve, so that means I have pain traveling from that vertebrae down into my hip and down my left leg and into my left knee. I had one of these about 8 years ago, and it was extremely uncomfortable. And when I got it diagnosed, I was given a series of options for how to deal with it. I went through all of them. I went through a medication, didn't work. And I mean serious medication, didn't work. Physical therapy, didn't help. I went to 2 epidural injections. That means they stuck a needle into the base of my spine and shot cortisone in there, hoping that would solve the problem and alleviate the pain. No dice. Didn't help. And I did talk to one doctor who suggested that traction might help. And traction is kind of like an old-fashioned torture device, obviously modernized, where you'd lay on a table and they'd stretch your feet one way and stretch your head another way, and that would pull the spine apart and create some distance between your vertebrae and allow the discs between them to heal. And it sounded like a cool idea. I mean, I was all up for it, except my insurance wasn't going to cover it, and it's very expensive out of pocket, and there was no guarantee it was going to work. So that was a thanks but no thanks kind of thing. Until I thought about it, I said, you know what? That sounds an awful lot like hanging upside down to me. And I thought, well, instead of spending several $1,000s to lay down and have my vertebrae stretched, maybe I can just get an inversion table and stretch my back out that way. And this is why I'm even mentioning it on this show, because this is in the process of helping me twice. If you do have back problems, especially sciatic problems with your spine and your vertebrae and your discs, this may help you too. Can't guarantee it, but it's something to consider. See, when I was presented with the solution of laying down on a table and possibly spending thousands of dollars to stretch my vertebrae out, I thought, well, maybe I can just do a cheaper version of that and get an inversion table and hang upside down, and that might do the same thing. So I went on Craigslist out of desperation and bought a used inversion table for $75. Now, if you're not familiar with an inversion table, this is basically a teeter-totter that you lay down on, you strap your feet in, and you lean back, and you're hanging upside down at different degrees. And I got to the point where I was hanging literally upside down, and I could feel my back stretch out. And for me, where everything else failed, this worked. In 2 weeks' time, my back was feeling amazingly better. And it was like a new lease on life. So I'm very much in favor of the inversion table. And I'm a believer. And that's what I'm doing right now to treat my back. I have some medication that's taking the edge off, which is fine. But what I'm really doing is focusing on stretching out my back, I'll eventually add yoga, but for now, hanging upside down is the way to go. In fact, I'm so into it, I'm doing this podcast right now, hanging upside down. No, I'm not. But I intend to later, and I will keep you updated, because if it works, I will once again espouse the virtues of hanging upside down. I will also continue to espouse the virtues of Banuba, banuba.net, BANOOBA.net. They're the folks that provide the music at the beginning, middle, and end of this show. Go to their website, check them out, go see them live, buy their music, download their music. They're awesome. And if you make contact with them, well, tell them Dave says hi and say thanks for supporting BYOL. And if you want to support BYOL, well, I've said it before and I'll say it again. There's a few ways you can do it. It doesn't cost you a dime. First thing you can do is just tell a friend. Send a link to this show to somebody you think would enjoy the show, or 10 friends who you think would enjoy the show, or 100 friends. You get the idea. Or you can send it out on social media. That would cut to the chase. You can write it in a letter to your grandma. I don't care. As long as you're sharing the fact that this podcast exists, I'll be happy. And then if you really want to help out, you can go to iTunes or Stitcher and rate, review, subscribe to the show. Rating and reviewing tells everybody else that you are into what we're doing, and subscribing tells iTunes and Stitcher, well, this is a podcast to keep an eye on, and it would help us out a great deal. So if you do that, I would love it. And, frankly, I would love you. Platonically, of course. All right, let's get into it with Kevin Arbouet. This one's funny because we have some audio challenges because there's a truck that comes by. See if you can spot when. But it's a great conversation. Kevin's a very cool guy. So, Kevin Arbouet, writer, director, producer, former talent manager, Long Islander, good guy. Here's Kevin. Enjoy. I interrupted your beatboxing when I was.
I had a flow.
I
had a flow.
I don't know from flow, but
she does the progressive commercial.
Yeah, that's the only flow I know, or the one from Alice. The one who used to say "kiss my grits." But it certainly definitely sounded flowy to me in my amateur. So I'm glad we finally got to do this.
It
took a little while to bring together, but we finally managed to knock it down.
Yep.
Because you had some exciting things happen.
Yeah, I had a lot of things happening all within like a month and a half. So it was just like everything at the same time.
Well, that's when it rains, it pours.
Right.
Which is awesome.
Right.
Which is awesome. And I want to get to all of that. But first, as is my habit with this show and my obsession with people's names, your last name.
It is, I accept two pronunciations.
Okay,
you can either call me Kevin Arbouet.
Arbouet.
Which is the French version and how I usually say it.
Yeah.
Or I also answer to Arbouet.
You do? Okay. All right.
I do.
Which is very kind of you, because as someone with the last name Koenig, I still have that deep-seated fury whenever somebody mispronounces my name that I've learned to fake being okay about. So good for you, man. So,
you just go home and create a list of people you're going to kill.
Yeah, that's right.
That mispronounce
and
your
then
name.
put the lipstick on, and then, that's...
Do you tuck? Do you tuck during the whole thing?
Yeah. I think the Buffalo Bill character...
Yeah.
I don't want to say it was based on me, but it was based on me.
As luck would have it, I would have lotion with me. So if you need it at any point.
We'll just put it in the basket and we'll deal with it later. Yeah. So Arbouet.
Yeah, Arbouet is good.
French pronunciation. What's your background?
My father is Haitian French.
Okay, sure.
And my mother is Panamanian Latino.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
That's a fascinating mix.
It is.
Yeah. Were they... originally from their respective...
Yeah. As a matter of fact, and maybe you're the first, I don't think I've ever met someone whose parents were born here.
Oh. Wait, you don't know if you've ever met a person whose parents were born here?
Well, I guess maybe that's overstepping, but I guess people that you interact with the most, it just feels like everyone's either from Germany, Ireland, Haiti, Jamaica, Panama, you know what I mean?
I think definitely
my age too.
On the grandparents' side, there's very few parents who were not born here, but on the grandparents' side, there are a lot of grandparents that were born in various countries, and obviously this is the great melting pot. But so where did they come from specifically? Was it Haiti and
Panama?
And Panama. Okay. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Long Island.
Okay.
And which is, a place.
A place. Well, I'm from the same place. So,
that's right.
So,
where are you from in Long Island?
I am from Manhasset.
Oh, that's right. Which is it is Long Island, but it's really kind of Queensy and kind of.
It's on the border of Queens. Like you almost can't get closer to Queens without being in Queens,
right,
unless you live in Great Neck. But it's the furthest thing from typical Long Island and way far away from typical Queens. So. Where would you grow up? What town?
I grew up in Hempstead.
Okay.
So, right. I mean, that's like Nassau, Long Island. That's the real experience. Even people who say that they're from Suffolk, I'm like, that's not the real Long Island. Long Island is Nassau. Long Island is, when people think of Long Island, they do think of that Irish American thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that. It's New York, which is a typically blue state, liberal state. Mm-hmm. Nassau is incredibly Republican type. I'll give you an example. I went to Catholic school most of my life. And
where'd you go to school?
Kellenberg Memorial High School.
Okay, you went to Kellenberg. Okay.
Yeah. So you've heard of this?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
jail.
This is you considered it a jail.
It was. I felt like Zod in the Phantom Zone, just kind of spinning around in the glass. It was a jail. It was terrible.
So what made it away? Okay, I want to delve into this a little bit. Because I don't know. You're the first person I think I've ever met who went to Kellenberg.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and Kellenberg, I never assumed was a Catholic school because Kellenberg actually sounds Jewish. So
it does, actually. Now that I've never thought of that until you just said it.
Yeah,
it does sound Jewish.
I mean, if anything, I thought it was just a public school that was named after some Jewish dude.
Right.
So what you went there starting in kindergarten?
Seventh grade.
Seventh grade. Did you go to Hempstead Public Schools?
No. What ended up happening was, I went to the elementary, like California Avenue School until 6th grade.
Okay.
And then 7th grade entered Kellenberg, and then towards the middle of my 11th, like junior year, I begged my parents to go to public school, and I ended up going to Uniondale High School, which also was quite the mistake for completely different reasons.
And if people don't know, Uniondale is basically Hempstead East.
Yes, in terms of schooling, like Kellenberg was like Nazi Germany, and Uniondale was like Africa. It was just, I mean, it was completely polar opposites in the worst possible way. Either way, I was going to die. I mean, it was terrible.
Well, and Hempstead and Uniondale have kind of a reputation on Long Island as being kind of a survivor's game, let's say.
A little bit of Hunger's game, yeah.
A little bit. But let's start with Kellenberg. What made that seem like a jail to you?
Well, the administration, you know what I mean? Most people know I'm an atheist, and, just the teachings and kind of how they were there, the strict, very disrespectful towards the students. And it wasn't kind of a back and forth of learning. There was that religion class where they were telling me that evolution was evil and all the stuff. And even and even at 15, I'm like, what? You saying evolution doesn't exist? I'm like, oh no. It's like, you think we came from monkeys? That's ridiculous. And
oh boy.
Yeah,
and as a self-described atheist, you said like that's got to be extra. And if you knew that by 15, that's got to be rough. So why Catholic school for you? Were your parents?
I didn't have a choice. It was just they just knew that they did not want to put me in public school. So
okay, all right.
I'm the youngest of 3, and none of us went to public school. My sister, I think, she really lucked out. She went to a private school, but it was not a religious private. It was Waldorf High School, which was like a really great school in Long Island, Garden City.
Oh, all right. Okay.
And then my brother went to Kellenberg, and then I went to Kellenberg.
Wow. So, and you survived that, and then and the transition to public school in Uniondale.
Ooh.
Describe that for somebody who, like me, went to a very sheltered high school.
Do you remember the first 5 minutes of Dangerous Minds when Michelle Pfeiffer was walking the halls, and that's pretty much
it?
Yeah.
Or Lean on Me.
A little.
Not that bad.
No, it was. What it was is, it really was 2 extremes. I mean, the good thing about Kellenberg is that there was, structure, and there was, an air of at least people are interested in learning and graduating.
Okay,
and Uniondale High School was just a fucking madhouse. You know what I mean?
Survival was
just. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty bad. I mean, it was pretty bad. The teachers were afraid of the students.
Wow.
I remember my first couple of weeks being in class, and we had to take a test, and the kids would go, yo, what's the answer to number 9? And she would just tell them.
Oh my gosh.
She just didn't want to deal with it.
Wow.
Yeah. It was like that.
See, in my school, the teachers were worried that the students' parents would sue them. That was like, so the kids kind of had the similar power structure going on there, but it wasn't because they were physically intimidating or anything like that. They just had more money behind them than the teachers did.
What school do you go to?
Manhasset High School.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I've said it a million times on the show that I kind of came from the other side of the tracks in Manhasset, which meant that my dad made plenty of money. We were very comfortable,
right,
but we just weren't like the richest of the rich of the rich of the rich, which some people in Manhasset are, and more power to them. As I've grown, it's like,
screw them.
Yeah, screw them. So somewhere in there, did you become aware that you wanted to get into this business?
Towards the end of my high school, but only because of my brother, really. My brother, who is 6 years older than me, he really had that. He used to make little comedy skits with all the friends he had around the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And I used to watch those. I mean, and they were funny for what it is,
Yeah, sure.
And I'm like, wow, this is great. You can actually make this stuff. And then he actually went to film school.
Oh, okay. Where'd he go?
He went to CW Post.
Okay.
Yeah, which is useless at the film school.
Well, but it's a destination.
It is. Yeah, if you Google Map it, it'll get you there.
They make a good granola.
They do. So that was really. I feel like back then, everyone thought if you wanted to make a movie, you had to be born into it. Kind of like a monarchy.
I mean, you're a couple of years younger than me, but there was that definite idea that, especially because of technology,
right,
you had to have a lot of access to a lot of stuff. I mean, just to make a film was an immense undertaking, unless you were going to make it on, I guess, like Super 8, and maybe you made 3 minutes of it and never finish it.
But it really was like you're born into it, and because there was no indie scene until, for me, Clerks was the first time I was like, whoa, so you can actually just kind of pick up a camera and write something and kind of do it. And that's really what it was. So by age 17, I kind of knew I wanted to get into film. Yeah.
Prior to that, did you have any goals, aspirations, dreams besides beating the Nazis and surviving?
If I...
You were Oscar Schindler.
Yeah, I had a list. Honestly, if I wasn't doing this, I probably would have became a lawyer.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I hear that as a common theme, and I'm wondering what the psychology is there of people who either would have been a lawyer or gotten into acting or directing or producing, and there's got to be a similar something there.
Because there's a theatricality to law. I
guess, yeah.
Because law, for the most part, is the interpretation of law. So even though there's, it would be, you wouldn't need lawyers if it was, this is 100% illegal, you're going to jail. There's no, but
right.
With lawyers, you can bend and you can convince and you can
interpret, which is a big thing. Yeah. Sure.
So the idea of standing in front of a jury or a judge and kind of, being like Al Pacino from Injustice for All was kind of enticing, for a bit. Yeah.
Do you find now that some of that itch gets scratched by being a director, producer, writer?
Absolutely, because I'm still heavily involved in the contracts that are or in each project.
Sure, yeah.
So sure,
there is a tremendous amount of legal stuff that goes on.
There is.
Yeah, no, I didn't even think of it from that standpoint. All right, so you survive Uniondale, and where do you head?
Then I go to community college, because what ended up happening was my first half of my life, I was like super A student, crazy IQ test, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. I was like the golden child, was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And then towards the end of Kellenberg, when I became disenchanted, and then made it even worse going to Uniondale, I mean, my grades were for shit, and I actually didn't have an interest in going to college because my brother's going to college, and I think at that point, he's 6 years older than me, so he had already graduated while I was probably in 11th grade, if I'm doing the math correctly. Okay. And I might not be. Like they said, the schooling just went off the rails. And I saw that after all that money and all that schooling, he was not working in the business.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah.
One of his first jobs was at like Friendly's.
Oh wow!
And I actually started working very young. When I was 11, I started a paper route, and it never stopped. I was managing a movie theater when I was 15.
Oh wow!
So I always wanted to work, and I was just like, I'm like 16, 17, and I'm making more money than my brother who went to 4 years of college and spent, way up into the 6 figures of tuition. So I did just start going to Nassau Community College to appease my parents.
Okay.
But I was like, this just makes no sense to me. And before I started any type of filmmaking, believe it or not, my first foray into the business was in representation.
Oh, okay.
And I saw an ad in Newsday, and it was a modeling agency looking for an agent. And I went to the interview, lied about my age, said I was 23.
Nice. Nice.
And I got the job.
All right.
And as a matter of fact, I actually lied about my age until 25.
Really?
Yeah, because I was just so young. I was so young, and I was representing. I kind of progressed rather quickly in representing musicians, actors, models, and they're not going to listen to a 20-year-old.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I should have done that. I should have lied to make myself older because people always assumed I was older anyway.
Yeah.
I blew it.
Yeah, you ruined
but
everything.
Then again, now I'd be 70, so I guess it all evens out.
But you look fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's the under eye cream I use.
Wait, how old are you now?
I'm 42.
You're 42?
Yeah,
You look awful. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, there go my knees. So this it's interesting that you did the ad in the paper in Newsday. Yeah. My initial thought when you started saying it was that it was like one of these fly-by-night kind of things, but it led to an actual career.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was in representation up until. Sorry, it's not my career. No, I mean, I did it for years.
Yeah.
Up until like 2004 was the first time I decided to direct or do anything.
Okay.
So from like 1998 until the 5 years of representation. Yeah.
And was it all Long Island or was it in the city?
No, it started in Long Island and then quickly moved to the city, and it's in the city ever since. Yeah, I was at the first place in Long Island. I found out pretty quickly that it was a scam, so I left there.
All right,
awful.
So was that one of those ones where they hand you a business card at the mall?
Oh yeah, totally. In fact, it was like the most notorious one. It's the one that has had the most trouble.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's called New Faces or something like that. Yeah, look it up. It's
my instincts are still good.
Yeah.
Even though I've been in the business long enough to not need to worry about getting scammed like this. That's the loudest truck, I think, in the history of this show.
Yeah, wow.
What is that?
Ooh, it sounds like the Millennium Falcon is starting up.
Well, we're proving we're in New York City, which is fine.
Yeah.
So we will.
It's getting louder. It's getting louder, guys. Whoa. Guys, it's happening.
It's Clover Dave. Clover. What the hell?
Did you say Clover Dave?
Clover.
You said Clover Dave. What the hell is that?
There's our next film.
That is
Clover Dave.
It's the Jewish monster movie Clover Dave, and he just comes and
he complains, and everybody's like, "Shut up, Dave."
Yeah, the sequel, his mother comes, and she's really annoyed.
That's great. All right, so you got out of the scam thing. You came into the city. Did you have any success stories?
I mean, I used to represent Danya Ramirez, who she's on Devious Maids now, but she starred in, I was going to say Fat Albert, but you would know her by face. She's been on The Sopranos, and I mean, she's pretty big now. Yeah, she's pretty established now.
Oh, that's cool.
Gosh, I mean, just a lot of people. Vivian Bang, who was on that. Jesus Christ, was that show? Was
putting you on the spot here. Yeah.
I know. Jesus, why are you doing this to me? I mean, quite a bit. In fact, some of the actors that probably I used to represent. You know Natalie Gold?
Oh, yeah, okay.
I used to represent her. Jonathan Sale, I used to represent him.
Wow.
Yeah. There's a lot of those peeps,
cool. These are the people I like to name drop, because I know them. Yeah. But that's very cool. I mean, so you had that relationship with them then. So you got to know them in pretty intensely as developing actors.
Oh yeah.
When you were, because you can speak from a very interesting perspective in that you were looking for talent, as a representative.
Will this interview be in English the whole time?
It hasn't yet so far, so why should we start? As a representative, and then you now look at them from through the eye of a director and a producer. Yeah. When you look at somebody who is a prospective talent in either arrangement, what do you look for?
I look for something different and something. It doesn't sound kind of stock, but when you meet an actor, or even when you audition an actor, when they come in and they make a really strong choice, and it feels like there's no effort there, that to me is exciting. As a kid, the movie that kind of changed my life, that was like, whoa, this is what acting could be, believe it or not, was Broadcast News. And I saw that movie, and the performance of Holly Hunter and Albert Brooks seemed so effortless, and it was so, especially Holly Hunter. She was so aware of things around her, and as a director now, I can watch that movie and I can see how much of it was improvised, in the sense where she was interacting with different day players who probably didn't even have lines. That to me was like, okay, that's amazing. That's great. So I look for that constantly, who just kind of have this innate comfort, which is actually interesting to see. Someone, Natalie Gold is a good example of. She was pretty young when I represented her.
Well, it's just for fairness' sake. She's still very young.
She's still, So I mean, she was. But to see her now and to see her work, it's like a different human being.
Really,
it truly is. I feel like a dad and that's why I hired her recently. I got to work with her on my last film, and watching her, it's just like, wow, look what she's accomplished.
That's super cool.
Look what she's accomplished. It's great.
So you continue to do representation. What triggered the switch, you think?
Well, I started with models, and which at first was amazing, because I was a heterosexual man, young man with genetically the hottest people on the planet.
Right.
So I was reaping every benefit and reward you could from them.
Well, sure.
And then I started to hate them. They even the smartest model, after a year, after they start making a living off of what they look like, become just these vapid, awful things, and it was really sad. It was really sad, and I hated it.
I started to do that after a while.
Yeah, I thought I saw you in that Abercrombie and Fitch. It was great.
Yeah, I was just mean.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Why are you taking off your shirt, Dave? Do not take off your shirt.
It's hot in here.
Nipples aside, I hated the models, and I switched to the actors, and it kind of renewed my interest in representation.
Okay.
Because I was kind of like, well, this is, I've done this for a couple of years, and maybe I should just, I never thought of quitting the business or representation entirely, but I just knew I didn't want to work with models anymore.
That makes sense.
The actor thing was really it was really eye-opening for me.
Have you stopped it, or is that in the past, or is that something?
Representation?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Okay, all right.
Way in the past.
All right. So at some point you actually did think of quitting doing that.
Yeah. Eventually. Well, working with Lee Daniels is kind of what was the end of that.
Okay.
Representation.
Well, tell me about that experience.
Oh, it was probably the most educational. There's no way anyone can hear anything I'm saying.
No, that's okay.
It's probably
the genius of technology these days is that will turn into butterflies.
That is
the sound
amazing.
of butterflies flapping. Yes. What's great is that, and this is not going to mean anything to anybody, but I just looked out over your shoulder, and there's this giant crane sitting there. So we picked the perfect location to record a podcast. But that's what makes this show fun. It's the fact that.
It's amazing. I'm looking at the truck, and the actual company is called Noise.
Yes.
I don't know what they do, but it's just it's just noise.
It's not false advertising.
Why would the company just create noise? It makes no sense.
It's actually the French pronunciation, so it's noisette.
Oh, yeah. I see. I want to drink that. I don't know what that is, but it sounds delicious.
I'll have a noisette on the rocks, please. Yes. All right. So you work with Lee Daniels.
It was the most educational experience I've had in the business ever since. He taught me that you can be a business person and creative at the same time, which I did not think was a possibility. I felt like you either had to be a business person or you had to be a creative.
That is interesting. Yeah, I mean that's a struggle that a lot of us go through, especially if you're jumping behind and in front of the camera a lot. Is that you have to kind of serve two masters in that way. But how did you get hooked up with him? How did you?
I actually door open, door closed. There's a lot of things happening today, guys.
Okay.
I answered an ad.
Oh, okay.
I think that I answered an ad, and he was looking for like an office administrator.
Okay.
So at that point, I forget the circumstances why I had left my old place. I think maybe it was even closing. I forget what was happening. And at that point, I know that wherever I am, I'm going to move up.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point with Lee Daniels, Monsters Ball had just come out and Halle Berry had just won the Oscar. So I'm like, listen, if I can just get in the door, I'm not worried about starting so low. I can work my way up.
Mm-hmm.
So we met, and I gave him such a spiel. If there's anything that I do well is hustle.
Okay.
And so I gave him a spiel, and I remember it was August, and I came in a suit, and I was drenched. And, the office was in Harlem, so I had to walk. When I tell you that I was drenched, I was drenched.
Yeah.
And but I
a
still
New York
gave
City
him,
drenched.
which is a different type of drench.
Yeah, it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, it's pretty close to Atlanta drench. I don't know if you've been to Atlanta, that's a good drench.
Yes, totally.
I gave him my thing, and he shook my hand, my sweaty hand, and I went home. And then I got an email from him saying, like, how would you like to run the talent department?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy smoke.
Can we curse in here?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sure.
It's not a smoke.
No, I see. I reserve my cursing for when it's really important.
Oh, okay. We'll get there.
And that's close. Going from potentially office manager in a sweaty interview to talent department head for, I guess, his studio or his production company, right? Yeah. What were your duties then?
It was being a manager at that point, and it was representing Wes Bentley, and it was. Oh,
that's interesting. Yeah. I didn't realize he had kind of that broad a spectrum.
He had been after the success of Monsters Ball, he was like, okay, I'm going to close it down. And actually was a bit of a transition because he had a stable of great actors, Marina Baccarin, Michael Shannon, Wes Bentley.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of great people. So it was like, okay, I'm going to just concentrate on producing. He hadn't even thought about directing. It was just produce.
Oh, that's interesting.
He was like, I'll never direct back then.
Huh. Well, there you go.
Yeah. And it was just, he had so... This was also the first time I had worked with someone who had power.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Beforehand, it was always boutique.
Mm-hmm.
Always. Even when I had clients who were working regularly, and I had a lot of people on Oz at the time, and before Lee Daniels, and even like Lauren Velez was a client of mine for a while, and but it. Oh my God! Wow!
This is in tribute to Lee Daniels and the hard work he put in and the success he now enjoys.
You know what's weird? On the other side of the truck that says noise, the other side that says "fuck you." That is really. I want to know what this company does, but this is really strange.
The license plate says, "We hate Dave's podcast."
How did they know we'd be here? That is so.
Well, yeah, they're on the internet.
So when I hooked up with Lee Daniels, it was just so funny. It was.
Let's try not to yell over it.
Yeah, because that's gonna be worse. And so tell me about your newest project, Kevin. I feel like I'm in a scene in True Detective. Shouting at a bar. Hey.
We sotto voce for the rest of the interview.
It's 9:42 p.m.
The quiet storm.
So he, what the fuck? Oh yeah. So this is the first time I worked with someone with power. And I used to hear phone calls with him blowing people out of the water. Stuff I only see on TV shows.
In terms of what?
In terms of agents calling, like Matt Damon's agent calling, be like, okay, I heard you have this new movie. Let's make him an offer, and then you guys can meet. Which I'm like, Matt, that's so cool. And he goes, oh, make an offer first? Fuck you. You think I'm gonna make a fucking offer to Matt Damon first? You get his white fucking ass in this office tomorrow. And they go, okay, let me see what I can do.
Wow.
And I'm like, what? Like, it was crazy. I would see that on the regular.
Wow.
On the regular.
That's amazing.
It was amazing to hear this, 40-something homosexual black guy have so much power was so inspiring to me. It was just, not that I would ever, I've never talked to anyone that way, and this is not my bag, and the way he was. I mean, he would throw ashtrays at people, and it was, his role model was Howard Hughes.
Okay.
To give you an example.
That'll do it. Yeah.
So he really enjoyed that, but it was just amazing to see. I mean, I have so many stories that I could never tell you.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. Not for podcast consumption, but
yeah.
I mean, it is amazing to know anybody with power.
Yeah.
And watch somebody wield it, whether it's the kind that you're talking about or somebody who's just really good at being convincing to somebody else in a much more, I guess, gentle way. It's an important thing in this business, and if you took something from that, what would that be?
To be confident in what you can bring out. Meaning, Ron Howard is a mensch, and Lee Daniels is a firestorm. But what they share is that they both know that they're going to do something great.
Right.
They both know that they have talent.
Right.
And with Lee Daniels, it was accepting, being okay for me to say I have talent and I'm worth a certain thing, which is very hard to do because you always feel like you're begging.
Yeah.
And that was the thing with, even when I represented actors, I'm like, do not go in that room with that desperate thing, like I got to get this gig, because everyone, for an actor to just act and earn a living, it's very difficult.
Yes, and it shows on your face. That's the first thing that probably registers for people when they see that little bit of desperation. Yeah, because it's off-putting. Oh, totally. Yeah, totally. And that was a big old life lesson. Yeah, and like I said, for him to be an executive and a producer and then say, but you know what? I'm going to write a little bit on the screenplay that we have. I'm like, you can do that? Like, and he would say, like, I'm going to, we have the screenplay. I don't think it's there. I'm going to write a little bit on it. And I'm like, well, how can you do that? You're not a writer. And he was like, who the fuck says I'm not? Wow. And I said, you're right. Who the fuck says you're not? Yeah. That's a valid point. Your name's on the door, pal. Yeah. And what is interesting about that and this business is that virtually everything is by self-declaration. That's true. That's very true. Yeah. And we meet people all the time who say things like, and I hate this phrase, I do modeling, I do acting. I hate when people say the word do. It's a pet peeve of mine. No, I'm an actor. I do modeling, I do acting. I'm like, no, you don't. If you say that, you do nothing. I do doctor. I do doctoring. I do lawyer. I do presidenting. Yeah, right. And but with that, it's like, you know what? If you're going to call yourself a writer and you're going to start writing, then you're a writer. Yeah. And that, to me, was the big old life lesson. Yeah, the plane has landed, by the way. It feels like I hope so. Jesus Christ. Then the next truck coming up the block is, it says quiet on one side. They're competitors. Yeah. Unfortunately, the other side says riot, which means we may be in trouble. What got you started actually making your own films then? So after the Lee Daniels experience, I like to call it the Lee Daniels experience. The Lee Daniels, that sounds actually like the chapter of your book. I want to write a book when I'm 50 called Black Like Who. Don't steal that anymore. No, well, least of all me. Yeah. I'm pretty much translucent, so I think it'd be disingenuous. So after that, I was seriously considering moving to LA and trying to get a job at a studio. I still had a little bit, because while I was I'll keep hitting the microphone. That's okay. While I was with Lee Daniels, in turn, because I was under that umbrella, I had power. So I can get any agent on the phone. I can get any executive on the phone. Sure. So there was that little window where I can probably transition this into a studio executive thing. Wow. And that was the plan. Wow. But I had started writing during the last couple of months with Lee. And my friend, Larry Strong, was like, I had this movie idea called Serial. And I had written the script, and he's like, you know what?
you should direct it. And I said, I have no clue how to direct. I can't direct the movie. You're talking about direct the movie? What are you talking about? And he was like, well, I know some, if you're worried about the technical aspect, I will direct it with you. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, you have my back and we can do it. So we raised some money and we cast it. And of course, I had Lauren Velez in it because, you know, she's a friend and I could. And this is when I first met Eric Jensen, you know, who was also in it, which is great. And when I first met Kelly O'Coin, who was also in it, it was great.
A lot of great New York actors.
A lot of great New York actors in this tiny, tiny film. And we did it. And, you know, looking back, and it never came out, so to speak, you know. Looking back on it, it's not a disaster. But you can see the potential of what that movie was.
Okay, that's great. I mean, when you can look back on something you did, especially your first crack at something, and not cringe entirely, if you can take some good stuff out of it, I think that's a victory.
Yeah, I think, you know, there's 35% of that movie has some really good stuff in it. Which, I mean, there are certain scenes that are just like, wow, okay, yeah, we killed this scene. But, you know, the editing's awful. There's a lot of things that were awful about that movie. But the core idea of it, and Serial was about a local news team that goes to a small town to interview a police officer who had just caught a bank robber who had been in the land for like 10 years.
Whoa.
So as they're doing a story there, they come upon a murder scene. Like someone is dead, the first on the scene. So that story of the bank robber, the cop switches to this murderer. And the reporter sensationalizes it so much, it kind of gives inspiration to the killer to kill again. So in a sense, this reporter creates a serial killer. And the movie's called Serial. Yeah, it was a really cool, interesting idea. We tried to shoot it, quote unquote, found footage. So everything is from the news camera angle.
Oh, okay, sure.
And this is 2004. So back then, it was a pretty decent, interesting idea.
Yeah. It was still novel to do that.
Exactly. It was still novel. And there was a reason why it was that genre of found footage, because there's a news camera there and everything you discover,
Yeah, it's a little easier to shoot and people forgive a little bit more.
Yes.
Yeah, about
exactly.
The composition of shots and stuff like that. So
exactly.
That's great use of materials and great use of what do you have? Resources.
Yeah. So we made it work, and and that was kind of like, oh wow, I can do this. And then from there, I produced my first film on my own, another movie that did not come out, and it was such a disaster for all involved. This is actually the next movie I produced. Was called I Believe in America, and that's the movie that made me truly, truly understand and feel sorry for actors and what they go through. And what that means is this: the failure of that movie was because of the director. It was because of the writer, who was the same person, and it was because of the producers, right, myself included.
Interesting.
Those three components, we really fucked up that movie, and we had a great cast. So the idea of this movie and what they signed up for, and what they eventually got, that made me go, God damn it! It's so sad when an actor goes in thinking it's going to be one thing and it becomes another. But we had Melissa Leo starring in this movie.
Oh, wow.
Ann Dowd starring in this movie. I mean, it was phenomenal. And, that movie is fucked up. That movie is fucked up. And, yeah.
What was the one that turned the corner for you where you thought, oh, okay, I'm getting a handle on this? Like, what was the one that you said, okay, this one made me feel like I can handle all this stuff?
The game changer was when we did a viral video. That actually changed everything.
Interesting.
We did a video called I Got a Crush on Obama, and this is 2007. Yeah. And that experience was insane.
Yeah.
Because, again, answered an ad. A lot of my career-changing things were answering ads.
Yeah, so you mentioned that several times now. And I think
Believe it or not.
If someone's going to listen to this and take some advice, you can just put yourself out there and things can happen. Yeah,
absolutely. Because when I answer an ad, what I never do is write them a boring form like, "Hi, my name was blah blah blah. Saw your ad. Here's my resume." That is bullshit. And if you're doing that, then you're not doing it correctly. I would see who this person is. If I saw anything, a production company name, a full name, whatever, even back then when the internet was for shit, I would Google, learn everything about them. Everything I possibly could. So when I answer that, it's like, hi, David. You know, I saw your ad. I took the time to watch this and this, the thing you did here. I thought that was interesting. I did this in here. I like the genre that you're doing. It's really interesting. It reminds me of this and da 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 da. I mean, it was a very, very personal, which sets you apart from everyone else.
Sure.
Because for the, a resume is a resume.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I answered an ad, and some guy named Ben Rellis wanted to do like a music video thing, comedy based, talking about a crush on Barack Obama, who back then I didn't know who he was. No one knew who he was.
He's if you really follow politics, you may have known about Barack Obama and his potential, but that's about it.
Yeah. And this is before anything. Any type of primary was just like, so he was like in dead last. But the joke was, oh, he's a black dude running for president, and he was the only one.
Right.
So it's okay, but he had no like concept. So Larry and I, because we had been co-directing, doing things. Larry and I, we went to the city and saw the girl who was, she looked amazing. And so okay, what are we going to do here? And then our idea was to do like a really cheesy R&B video.
Okay.
And we shot the whole day. We did all this different stuff, and the song was catchy enough that Ben had done. Finished it, we edited it, we gave it to him, said, here you go. We hadn't thought about it, and we left. We were like, this is,
Yeah, you did your job. Done, yeah.
About a month, not even, 2 weeks later, and we actually had to go to LA for something, I forget what, but 2 weeks later, back in New York, and I got a call from him. I was in a movie theater. I was watching Stardust. Stupid movie. And he's like, hey, I'm putting out I just put out the video, and an affiliate in Chicago, ABC Chicago, wants to do a quick little interview.
Wow.
I'm like, that's great. It was like 10 o'clock at night. I run out of the theater, run to his office. He was in advertising back then. And we do this like online interview camera thing. And I was like, wow, that was really cool. So go to bed, don't think anything of it. The next morning, it's everywhere. It's on every morning news show. It's on MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, everywhere.
That's the dream right there for a viral video.
It was, because this was like the start of it. So that year, the big viral videos was us and Chocolate Rain. Those were the two big viral videos.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's also before the time you can capitalize on it. If it happened now, it'd be completely different.
You can monetize a video and you'd be sitting pretty.
Yeah, I mean, this thing has been seen more than 100 million times.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
Yeah. So, but I ended up, every interview, I was on morning talk shows. And the point at which my mind, that was mind blowing. But when it started to get really like, oh my God, the two things for me that felt like I think I'm doing this was Jay Leno joking about his monologue.
Wow.
That was the first that blew me away.
Wow.
And Saturday Night Live doing a parody of it.
Wow.
That to me was the two big holy shit moments.
I don't know how I would even react to something like that.
Yeah.
That's got to feel really exciting.
It was so, and then through that, UTA contacted us to sign us.
Like I said, that's the dream.
That's the dream.
I mean, you put in all that work, you put something together that you think is going to be good. You put it on the internet, and you hope. And 99.99999% of the time, it gets 600 views, and you're thrilled.
Yep.
But you turned it into a career, and now you're sitting pretty.
Yeah, it was a roller coaster, and roller coaster, the connotation usually what a great thing, but you forget it comes down.
Yeah, right.
So when we went out to LA and got to UTA. We go there and they have a valet, and it's like, oh, Mr. Arbouet, we'll take your car here, and to come to the fifth floor, we go to the fifth floor. We're going to this huge conference room. There's 5 agents sitting across from us. They got this food platter, everything.
Wow.
Because, as you know, agents represent heat.
Yes.
And we were hot at that point.
Yes.
And then, but we didn't have anything else ready to go. We didn't know how to parlay it. We didn't know, we didn't know what. It was just like, it was kind of like, okay, well, can we have a meeting at a movie studio now? And can we,
right,
and it's
right.
like, motherfucker, don't work that way.
Yeah.
They didn't say it like that. They didn't say it like Chris Tucker, but it was, their eyes were like, motherfucker, what you think of me? And we were like, okay, well, they'll get us something. Because we assumed like, oh, well, they'll get us something.
Yeah.
And A couple of months go past, and then we were going to UTA a couple of times, and the last time, well, not the last time, but we noticed that it was like, okay, we go there, go park in this parking garage. We're like, okay, go to the fourth floor. I'm like, fourth floor? I go to the fourth floor, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, it was just completely different. Like, everything had cooled. It was just like, wah, wah. But we continued to get stuff on our own, and we directed a pilot, and actually we did have a little TV deal with Chris Tucker, as I made the joke of a second. Okay, we did have something with him, which is a whole other story. I don't know how long your show is.
Well, we're probably gonna have to do the second part on this one, because we're running out of time, and there's 4 more tracks lined up. So I do want to find, I think it'd be good to get the rest of the story from this point forward. So we'll do a 2-parter with you, which would be awesome. But for the meantime, give me the 30-second pitch on your most recent film that you just wrapped.
I just wrapped a movie called Fair Market Value. It is about a Argentinian woman from Miami who moves to Long Island. She's a real estate agent. And I'm so bad at this. Whenever they ask me to write a logline synopsis, I'm like, I'm fucked.
Exactly.
But it was, she starts to have a rival with the top agent in Long Island while they're trying to sell the biggest house that's been on the market for years.
Unique.
And then there's a love story thing. And that was another kind of shocking thing because we thought it was going to be much smaller. We ended up getting an amazing cast and Craig Biarco and, it was amazing. And the star, Luciana Lapalato, I didn't realize how big of a star she was in Argentina and Italy. Huge. Quick example, she posted this 10-second clip, this behind-the-scene clip of her singing, which is part of the movie. And in 3 hours had been seen 2 million times.
Jeez.
And I was like, oh, she's a huge star.
Yeah, that's a big star.
Huge star.
And that helps. I mean, that helps a lot.
And also her husband's Michael Bublé. So that
doesn't hurt. Yeah. And you got to hang out with him a little bit.
A whole lot. He was on. Yeah, he told me some amazing stories.
That's awesome. And I want to hear some of that stuff the next time you come and sit. We sit together. But you did go to New Best, which means a lot to me.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
You went to New Best in Manhasset.
We did.
My mom used to get her hair done.
That day was with Jerry Adler, and he was hilarious.
That's awesome. It was great. If they want to just kind of bone up on all things Kevin Arbouet, before you come back, where do people find you online?
I think I'm on Twitter, and I think it's. I'm getting better at this, but it's Kevin Arbouet, Twitter, whatever, how you get there. That's kind of...
You're a Twitter guy.
Yeah. Twitter, Facebook guy.
All right.
Don't send me any friend requests. I won't accept them. But Twitter, you'll see.
Twitter's the man.
The nonsense end.
There you go. Hey, thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
And I look forward to this part 2.
Pronounce your last name again.
Koenig. There you go. There he is, Kevin Arbouet. Really fun guy. Somebody I hadn't actually met before. He felt like an old friend to me. That was very, very cool conversation. And I definitely will look forward to having him back on and get a little bit more sense of what he's doing now as opposed to what he did to get here. But those stories were great. And he was such a good sport about the terrible audio stuff we were dealing with that stupid truck. But it just made it all much more fun. So that to me was just great. If you want to find out more about Kevin, if you want to get in touch with him, if you want to follow him, go find him on Twitter at Kevin Arbouet. And if you want, that link will be in the show notes for this episode on the website, bringyourownlunch.com, as well as his viral hit Crush on Obama. You can add to the 26 million or so views that video has already gotten. You can get a sense of what put him on the map, but what's putting him on the map now is a lot of great work, and we'll hear more about that very soon. Thanks, Kevin, for hanging out and being cool and telling some great stories. Looking forward to part 2 with you. All right, that about does it for another edition of Bring Your Own Lunch. Thank you, and got to thank Banuba, banuba.net, BANOOBA.net. That's the band that's playing the music you're listening to right now. Go to their website, download their music, buy their music, go see them live, support them the way they support Bring Your Own Lunch. And don't forget to go to our website, bringyourownlunch.com. You can find out all the information about the guests on this program, past, present, and presumably future. There's a lot of good stuff back there, and you can hear all the previous episodes in one convenient location. You can also like us on Facebook.com/BringYourOwnLunch. You can follow us on Twitter at BYOL Podcast. Follow us on Instagram at Bring Your Own Lunch. And, of course, if you really want to support the show, you can go to iTunes or Stitcher, rate, review, and subscribe, and then tell 10 friends, and then 50 friends, and then 100 friends. Make it your personal campaign to share the love that I try to bring to you each and every week. That's the Meds Talk. Stay tuned for Jimmy Jack's Cowpunch Hour, followed by Mansoor and the Fish, and until next week, when I'll have another great guest lined up, this is Dave. I'll see you next week. Hanging upside down.